Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. You got a question for RLN? It's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we getting real. Yeah, time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Welcome, everyone. Hold on, let me turn this off, click this off. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality Radio Podcast, whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, global happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner. I'm going to throw in Oracle, but mom too, mother, but not mother. Well, actually both, but I digress. And I'm going to throw in, but most importantly, a student, always learning, always growing, always expanding. This journey is this consciousness levels, self-awareness. This is never ending. There are no breaks, no vacation, no time off. When you commit to the practice, and let me just back up a little bit. I have a lot of people that are just finding me organically for the first time. So welcome, you victims. Welcome, audience. Welcome. Happiness specialist. Who the hell? That word gets so much. It gets such a bad rap. Plus, it's misunderstood. Well, scratch that. It's not misunderstood. Let me just share with you what my definition of happiness is. Happiness is an energy. Happiness is a vibration, a personal vibration, an energy of contentment, an energy of peace, an energy of a vibration of satisfaction, of balance, of peace. Did I say peace already? Happiness is my definition. Happiness is the ability to vibrate an energy of peace, regardless of what's happening and regardless of what doesn't happen. Happiness is a practiced skill. And when I use the word happiness, throw in whatever word you want. But it is an energy. It is an energy of contentment. And that is a practice too. That's the good news. And if I can do it, you can do it. And what do you practice? Well, the practice starts with number one. And all of the work is done in the mirror. That's why this is a road less traveled. But the practice starts with, are you committed? Are you committed with a fervor, with an energy that this is a priority? Vibrating an energy of contentment is a priority for me. Because what I find is, listen, I've been teaching these classes, The Truth About Happiness, for 15 years in California, in Oregon, and now in Vegas. And the students in Vegas, I already finished my 5th semester, going up to my 6th semester in February. And listen, these students are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90. I had a couple of people in their 90s looking for or seeking this thing called happiness. And let me just say this, it is nothing that you seek. It is a personal energy that you vibrate. And it has nothing to do with your circumstances. It has nothing to do with the story. That's what I'm talking about. And let me just share this too. I always share this study. You can Google it. It's called The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying. And it was a study done by a hospice nurse, Bronnie Ware. Google it. And so she asked her patients, these people had days to live, weeks to live, months to live. And she asked them, what are your five biggest regrets? And these five kept coming up over and over and over again. And they are, I'm going to read them because believe it or not, I do not have them memorized. Five most common regrets of the dying. Number one, I wish I pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. I wish I pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. Number two, I have something in my eye. No, that's not one of them. But if you're watching me live on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, it's Rebecca Norrington. I have one eye closed. Lord. Number two, I wish I didn't work so hard. Number three, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings and speak my mind. Number four, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Well, sometimes people, we just outgrow. We outgrow folks. There's nothing wrong with them, nothing wrong with you. It's just time to move on. Some people are here for a season, for a reason, and it's time to move on. But anyway, I'm not going anyway, that's my take on it. That's my perspective on it. And the fifth one is, I wish I would have let myself be happier. And so when I said in the beginning of the show, prioritize making a commitment, it is an ongoing commitment. Either you are choosing in any moment between peace or drama. And this thing called happiness, again, it is a practice. And in my latest book that was published this year, let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is, over to my other side. It's called Programmed for Unhappiness. I'm holding it up on YouTube. The YouTube channel, you can watch me live. And also, if you're listening on Noom Vibe, feel free to join the stage. I love having interaction with the audience, or always, especially if you don't agree. I love that. Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. It's on Amazon. Program for Unhappiness. And in this book, I list, I'm up to 57, but in the book, I list 56 programmed behaviors that subtract from a person's contentment, peace, the energy of happiness. And so when I say it's a practice, the beginning, the beginning of the practice is, number one, are you committed? Do you value, from a scale from 1 to 10, how important is this thing called happiness to you? And only you can answer that question. For me, for the last 45 plus years, it's number one. That's why I'm the global expert. That's why. And walking it, it's easy to talk it, but walking it. And I'm going to share with you, before we get into today's topic, practicing the importance of practicing trust. Oh, this looking in the mirror is just, so I got caught up. Scratch that. My ego. I gave my ego a voice. I gave my ego the ability to take over my behavior. And so this week, what was this, 3 days ago? Oh, yours truly. Oh my goodness. And I stay away from all of it because it's drama. And there is no right answer, even though I was programmed to believe that, yes, there is a right side. You know what I'm talking about, this whole political thing in this country. There is a right side. There's a wrong side and a right side. But scratch that. But scratch that. Since I practice prioritizing and making a commitment to this personal vibration of contentment, there can't be a side. If I'm choosing a side, if I'm allowing my ego to come up with a side, and these people are better than these people, and all of the judgments, you know what I'm talking about. Guess what? You can't have a side and feel contentment at the same time. I'm talking about this political side, but I got caught up. Oh, the spotlight was on. And there was a woman that I follow online, and she's global. Oh, and guess what? Oh, geez, Louise, Lord have mercy. I discovered, scratch that, my ego, and it is a distinction. I promise you, there is a distinction of this humanness, this personness, this ego, this voice in the head. You know that tries to convince me that, yeah, I'm that. I'm my stories. I'm my thoughts. That's who I am. No, there are three levels, and I got this lesson from Moji, Mooji. You can Google him on YouTube. I mean, he's, in my opinion, he is the most, I was going to say spiritual, but teacher alive today. Number one. Eckert is good too, but Emoji is just beyond. Anyway, so he gives these examples of who are you, what entity are you identifying with in any moment. So either I'm identifying with my human, which is all ego, and then or am I identifying with with witnessing the ego? In other words, I'm not the ego, but I'm definitely watching how the ego moves and what the ego wants to do and what the ego thinks and what the ego believes. So I'm outside of it, witnessing the ego. That's another level. And then the highest, I'm going to use that word air quotes, the highest is identifying with presence, which is which is just pure awareness and presence, the energy that never is birthed or dies, just presence. So being conscious of which entity am I identifying with, and I'm here to tell you that I was all the way human. And I wrote back because there was I'm not going to be specific, but I wrote back. I made a comment. Oh my goodness. I made a comment judging and making an observation of how can you align with this person when this person has A, B, C, D? I mean, and I listed it. And I'm very conscious when I'm writing those those comments, making comments in my human brain. And I said, there's something off about this. There's something that isn't really peaceful, but I gotta make a stand. I gotta have a side. I gotta bolster my point. I've got evidence. The ego always justifies everything with evidence that is just indisputed. Or is it undisputed? Indisputed, undisputed, whichever word is right. And then when I posted it and I was putting, I just had to call this person out. You're a hypocrite. Oh, and the problem with all of that name calling and arrogant and judging and all of that, I already know that whatever I call someone else, whatever I label someone else, guess what? I'm talking about myself. Oh, I hate that one, but it's the truth. So here I am judging, labeling, and then oh, and if you can, let me throw in highly offended. All are program behaviors that I practice eliminating. But I was caught up, posted it. And as soon as I posted it, I said, oh, crap. I didn't say crap. Oh, shit. I sat with it. And then my son called me. And I was right in the middle of this debate with the witness and the ego, and how the ego, yeah, you did the right thing. And I was explaining it to my son. And right in the middle of my explanation, I said, I'm going to delete it. delete it because it doesn't fall in line with what I practice. Yes, caught up for a minute, caught up for a moment. And I went back to delete it. And of course, I don't know if it was already deleted. Someone saw it, or the person saw it and deleted it. I mean, it wasn't me. It wasn't bad, but it was. I mean, I listed at least five reasons why this person was a hypocrite. Oh my God, that's right. I did, and I because I it wasn't aligned with what I practice and what I walk. But also, the practice is to let go and to know that whatever was posted was supposed to be posted in that moment, and let go of that. There's no turning the mirror and criticizing self. It was something that happened, and now it's the next moment. Because I tried to delete it, and I couldn't find it because there were a lot of comments after that. Not just my comments, but this person is just well known, and so I just want to let you know that yes, the what I'm going to talk about today is the importance of practicing trust, and this thing that people throw out, and I threw it out too. I'm just human. Well, when I identify with, align with my human, then that's the kind of behavior I'm going to have. And again, there's no criticism, because that's another thing that my ego loves to criticize, and what I could have done, what I should have done, how I could have said it. No, everything is in order. Everything is in divine order. I don't care what it is, how it's said, what's done. There is a unfolding a perfect, there is a spiritual scratch the spiritual, there is an unfolding of this thing we call life, and I'm either surrendering to it or resisting it in any moment. Okay, I think that's a good enough intro. So again, if you want to come up to the stage on Noom Vibe, you know how to do that. And I am live on YouTube. You can see me. I'm looking kind of the way I looked yesterday, except for I changed my glasses. They're blue today. Let's see. Oh, so there I'm live on YouTube, my YouTube channel, which is Rebecca Norrington. Okay, today's topic. The importance of practicing trust. Let me say that how many of you out there practice, when I say practice, let me ask this question. How many of you worry? Just raise your hand. And I get the, well, not all the time, sometimes, but it's very rare. No, either you worry or you don't. Either you are worrying or you don't. So the question is, do you worry? The the news is the news. The truth is, worrying is a programmed behavior. You didn't pop out of the womb knowing how to worry. Worrying is a programmed behavior. It is a programmed belief, worrying. And the thing that comes with the trap that comes with the whole programming of worrying is believing that if I worry about you, or if I'm worried about you, and especially when you tell the people that you love, claim to love, I'm worried about you. The false truth, can I say a lie? The lie is, that's pretty harsh, Rebecca. I mean, come on. You can't be any softer. No, I'm a boot camp instructor. I can't be any softer. Well, I could, but sharing with somebody that you're worried about them, number one, All worry is a program. Number two, worrying just means is just an indication of lack of trust. And I've talked about this ad nauseum forever. You cannot worry and trust at the same time. So worrying, the act of worrying, number one, it's a program. It's not your fault. But number two, you're not trusting. And then number three, there's a point where this worry becomes a part of your identity, because listen, you either are a worrier or you're not. And you look around, the people that are close to you, you know whether or not your mother, father, sister, coworker, neighbor, maybe not neighbor, but people that are close to you, friends, acquaintances, you know if they are worried or worriers or not. People that worry, they're not hard to spot. And what's fascinating to me, especially the people that worry and then I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that. Hmm. No, well, you know what? I'm just making an observation. So there's a difference between judging and there's a difference between describing. So I'm just going to describe. Yeah, I'm just describing. There's no judgment here. You can feel that. So the difference between no scratch. So the people people that I'm speaking about are people that are avid, they either label themselves a religion or they attend services every week. They're active in the quote unquote churches, but then they worry. It, it's not confusing to me. I get it, but what I'm saying is that worrying is so deep, is such a deep program that it becomes embedded. It becomes part of part of your idea, part of who you are. I worry. And I'm here to tell you that the first line of action or the first practice, if you are interested in changing something, because there is a solution to every problem. But some people don't think worrying is a problem. Or it's normal. This is what I get all the time. It's normal. But this, either you are, this is the way I see it. Either you are committed to, you practice, you want, desire something, a different vibration. You can't vibrate a sense of contentment and be worried at the same time. So what is going to be your priority? And that's what I want to say. This worrying, what I get is worrying is normal. It's not normal. It is a program. And let me get back to, especially you parents. This is what I get from people that are mothers, fathers, but mostly mothers that I've talked to. Yeah, I of course, if my son or daughter is out until 2 in the morning, and they're in their teens, 18, 19, 20, 16, 17. Yeah. Do you have, this is what I get. Do you have children? Yes, I have one son. And it's been years. It may even be a decade. I don't know. I don't remember how far back, but just maybe over a decade. Just this practice of not worrying about my only son. Number one, he's God's son. Number two, his journey is, whatever is going to happen in his life is going to be part of the journey. Me worrying about his journey, me worrying about whether or not he's safe or not, does absolutely nothing for him and for me. Absolutely nothing. In fact, you want to use a word that the people are using now, toxic. Worrying is toxic. Well, let me just scratch. Let me go back a little. Programmed toxic behavior. And what I've observed is that if I said, "Hey, you want to stop worrying? I'll snap your fingers, and you're instantly your worrying is over." If I said that, your worry is no more, no more worry for you. Some people, not all, some people are so attached to the worrying program behavior that what are they going to do with their time if they don't worry? What's going to replace it? I've that's that's been told to me more than once. It's healthy, it's normal. I have children. So I'm going to push back and saying, well, then contentment and peace and this thing that I'm labeling happiness is not that important to you. It can't be. This giving up, practicing letting go of behaviors, of stories, of actions that don't serve, but let you and myself off the hook. When it's time, if you are committed to, if you would like to commit to, if you are serious about letting go of this behavior, this worrying behavior, it will fall off, it will soften, it will leave, it will go bye-bye when it's time. All yeah, you scratch that. All I did was have the intent on, I don't want to worry anymore. How do I practice trusting more? That's the question that I ask. You want anything to shift, you want anything to change, I ask the universe, how do I practice trusting more? Simple. When I say there's a solution to every problem, let me just get back to this trust, because that's the topic. The importance of practicing trust. And I don't know if you've listened to this show before, but this is one of my favorite examples that I share. Imagine, oh, hold on. Of course, coming to a great segment, and I get all choked up. Hold on a second. I'm drinking my Voss water, waiting for sponsors, waiting for Voss to contact me. Yes, I would accept your sponsorship, Voss water. It is the wetter, better water. Hold on. I don't have a cough button. I don't have a sneeze button. I don't have a gulping the water button. You're just going to have to listen to me gulp water. Anyway, oh boy, what was I saying? I know it was brilliant. I just can't remember it. What was I saying? I remember. Okay. This is an analogy. So pretend that you have as much money as this money is the big thing now. And that's the other thing. Let me just throw this out. Everywhere I look, someone is trying to sell you a sense of, be dissatisfied with who you are, where you are, how much money you make, where you live, how much you weigh. Be dissatisfied with it. And one comment online was, well, if you're content, that means you're not going to do anything. You're going to be lazy if you're too content. Well, when I talk about vibrating an energy of contentment, that has nothing to do with being inspired and coming up and being inspired to action. There is a contentment. There is the foundation, the vibrational foundation is rooted in contentment. I can be as active. I can get 100 things done and still vibrate the sense of vibrate the energy of contentment. I highly recommend it. But let's get back to the example. You have an abundance amount of money and you want to buy your dream car. You're buying your dream car. And so imagine this car, whatever it is, from, I hear people, they want a VW bus, or they want a Jeep, or they want a Maybach or Rolls or whatever, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, Volvo, whatever. Tesla, shout out to Elon, whatever. Those Tesla cars they're just so space age. Yeah. It throws me off. It just throws me off. Anyway, I digress. Oh, so you are picking out your dream car. Your color, what would your color be? From black to red to white to green to pink. Pink cars, some people. All my cars are black. I only get black. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, black for me is the only color. Now I'm good with all your colors, everybody out there, but all my cars are black. I thought I wanted a white car once. I said, well, maybe I should switch it up and get a white car. I couldn't do it. So if you ever see me, you know it's going to be in a black car. Anyway, I digress again. So you're imagining your dream car, the color of your dream car, the inside, the leather, whatever. It is the top of the line. It's got all the bells and whistles. It is your dream car. And you're sitting in the passenger seat of your dream car. Who's driving? You're in the passenger seat of your dream car, color black. Who's driving? Now I hear back from, my significant other, or my husband's driving, or my wife is driving, or my best friend is driving. No, on all of that. The universe is driving. God, source, higher power, whatever term you want to label it, creator, whatever term. I get a lot of pushback based on words. People, words are innately powerless. So can we get into the vibration and the energy of it as opposed to the word? A word is is man-made. Word. In fact, using words is limiting, but definitely energy. So anyway, you use whatever term you want. Universe, God, who is driving the car? God is driving the car. The universe is driving the car. Source is driving the car. The all there is driving the car. You're sitting in the passenger seat, enjoying the journey, experiencing the journey. There was a time when I used to, and if you're watching me live on YouTube, I've got my hands up like I'm holding onto a steering wheel. You're holding onto a steering wheel, and you're driving. You think you're driving. You ain't driving. It's a very, I'm going to say, slow but powerful practice to take one finger off the wheel, one finger at a time. I used to tell my son, I said, "How many fingers do you have on the wheel?" He says, "I have 10, Mom. I gotta make sure I got 10 fingers on the wheel." I said, can you let go of one? Can you have just one finger up?" Okay. But it took years. It took years. I don't know how many fingers are off. Yeah, I don't know if he's driving without the fingers anymore, but I know I'm driving with no fingers on the wheel. I have I spent a lot of time driving, holding onto the steering wheel, thinking that I'm making something happen, thinking that I'm making the moves. I know I'm going to get gotta get a lot of crap from that. But my destiny, my journey, what's the line? What's the line? You make plans and then God has other plans. Whose plans do you think are going to manifest? I get it. I get it. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's not easy. So let's get back to the hands on the steering wheel. How many fingers do you have on your steering wheel? When your hands are off the steering wheel, that is the ultimate practice of trust. And I'm going to share that my hands have been off the steering wheel. Well, there are occasional times when I grab the steering wheel and try to move it over to the right and move it to the left, but I can feel the resistance instantly. Instant resistance. And the practice is to surrender to all moments as they unfold without judgment, without a story attached. It's just an enjoyment of this thing we call life. And the practice, scratch that. My practice is when I attach a story that is authored by the ego, when I attach a story to why something is happening or why something isn't happening, or analyzing, I'm telling you, all of those thoughts and stories, might as well believe in Santa Claus, which I used to believe in Santa Claus very, very, very deeply. I was I was one of those 16-year-olds. No, not 16, but I was pretty old when I was traumatized. What do you mean there's no Santa Claus? I think I was the last one to know. I was the last one to let go. Oh, yes, I grew up in Oz. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, oh, all of the everything that went with it. Just a whole fairy tale. Oh my goodness. Boy, oh boy. The reality. This reality is different than fairy tale. However, my practice is to practice trusting beyond any beyond any other practice in every single moment, not just trust sometimes. It is it is a practice that, for me, life, and this may be a story, but it feels like life has slowed down, or there's more contemplation, there's more wonderment, there's more appreciation, because I'm not driving. I'm just here to observe and witness and enjoy and let go and accept and allow the universe's plan that is just not my ego's plan. I've shared more than once that I have a legal case. It's in the appellate court right now. We're waiting to hear if the judge is going to allow the case to move forward. But this has been a 6 year going on 2025 is going to be 7 years. Just briefly, when my mother died in 2018, she gifted the family house to her handyman, and she couldn't have done it without the attorney extraordinaire Sean Tanko, who is very powerful attorney here in Clark County in Las Vegas, and I'm here fighting him, and not only fighting, but when I say gifted the house to the handyman, after a year and a half, almost 2 years, I did get the house back, but that was after hundreds and thousands of legal fees. So I'm going after the attorney. But see, I know you can feel the energy in the way I tell the story with zero seriousness, because it's not my plan. That 6 years going on 7 years, guess what? My lesson is patience and more trust, trusting that whatever is going to happen, however this plays out, is going to benefit, is going to serve me in some way. I'm not going to buy into the story that it never should have happened. Oh, I mean, when trust me, back in 2018, I was barking out all of that, angry, blaming the attorney, blaming the handyman, blaming my dead mother, my crazy dead mother. But no, the truth is, if that didn't happen, there were lessons that I could have only received from that happening to me. When I say to me, air quotes again, happening on this journey. That's part of my story. Yeah, it's like Shaq and Kobe. You can't talk about Shaq without including Kobe. You can't talk about Michael Jordan without including Scottie Pippen. You can't tell Rebecca Norrington's story without Sean Tanko. Shout out to you, Sean Tanko. And the thing about that is I don't have any ill will. I don't have, not anymore. I could take this guy out for lunch and pay for it, because what is going to happen has nothing to do with Sean Tanko. It's his journey, but it's my journey. It's part of the journey. It's part of what I needed to learn and experience. I trust that blindly. Of course, I said it took up to 6 years, because after 2 years, this is going to be over in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Oh, I just stopped thinking that. I just said, okay, whatever. This could last until I breathe my last breath. And there is no right or wrong. There is no judgment. It just falls under trusting that this is part of the experience. I know I get a lot of pushback. I get a lot of you would not believe all the the emails of some of them are mean. That's okay. It's not personal. Nothing that anyone says or does is personal. And again, with me, if I'm reflecting something, or I'm being mean, or I'm judging, it all comes back to the mirror. So if there is any hate, shout out to anybody out there. If there's any hate or disdain or dislike for anyone else, that just means that has nothing to do, that has everything to do with what's going on inside of you. Let me just share this. This was a question. And if there isn't any trust, and if there isn't any surrendering, and if there isn't anything to connect to, or a person doesn't feel like it, then that's part of your journey too. I'm not here to save the world. I'm not here to inspire the world. All I'm inspire the world. All I'm here to do is to share what I've learned. The ego, oh, make the world a better place. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But no, the world is in perfect order. I know. How could she say that? Her head's in the sand. She's one of those woo wooies. Well, listen, it still goes back to the mirror. Okay. So I want to just share this one. This is on relationships. Hold on a second. Okay. Oh, okay. This was posted, and the third book that I'm going to write. My first book is Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness. That was published in 2014, and my latest book, which is my masterpiece, it's called Programmed for Unhappiness. If you're watching on YouTube, here it is, Programmed for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Lulu. And in this book, again, I list 56 program behaviors that subtract from your contentment. Happiness, contentment, inner peace are all practice skills. Oh, the third book I'm going to write is a book on what relationships, program relationships. I'm just going to throw this in. This is just extra. Program relationships. So this was the question that was online. It was about people dating, and people getting frustrated with dating, and people, they have this whole idea of what dating is now. I couldn't resist, and here we go. And this is what I commented about the problems with dating. And my comments are, with all due respect. I usually say my perspective or due respect, because my intention is never to disrespect anyone. But quite frankly, no one can be disrespected. That's another program. When you get to a point when you have, in this whole respect thing, that's just another program. The lack of respect, they're not respecting me. That nobody can disrespect you when you have the highest respect for yourself. Nobody. It always comes back to you. I don't need anybody to behave in a certain way for me to have respect, to feel respect. And again, I'm using that word respect, for me to feel whole, for me to feel complete. You can say whatever you want, and trust me, people have more than once. So this is about dating and relationships. With all due respect, the topic doesn't address the real underlying issue of dating or relationships or marriage in 2024. Program people dating and or marrying other program people have a 98% chance of eventually failing. Like energy attracts like energy, and water rises to its own level. There are 57 program behaviors that subtract from the possibility of success in any relationship. You want to eliminate disappointment and heartbreak? Eliminate all expectations. You know what I get? This is what I get all the time. Well, that's hard. Well, eliminate expectations, Rebecca. That's hard. And this thing about worrying, well, that's hard to do, or not worrying. That's hard. Yes. Anything that is worth, scratch that. Some things are hard, and it you are the only one that determines what is valuable to you. And if something is hard, I mean, look at all the professional athletes. They just don't walk on the field. They've got to practice. They've got to keep themselves in shape. They have to eat all of it. It's not easy. I was going to say anything worthwhile, but that's not a true statement all across the board. But most things that are worthwhile are not easy. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. This practice is not easy. Okay, back to my comment. You want to eliminate disappointment and heartbreak for the rest of your life? Eliminate all expectations. Having expectations is a program behavior. Would you like me to list a few more? Of course, I will. Thank you for asking. Having an attachment to an outcome. Uh-oh. See, that attachment to an outcome, that's another program. And when you practice trusting, you know that whatever outcome unfolds, whatever outcome manifests is the perfect outcome. Don't let your ego trick you into believing that it's not. Living in the future, impatience. How many of you out there are impatient? The whole be having patience and the ability to be relaxed and move and groove with a pace that's slow. That's a practice. Shout out to all my New Yorkers the hustle and the bustle. They're you know, some people are even uncomfortable with slowing down. I'm not telling you to need to, but yeah, be mindful of what your ego feels uncomfortable with. That is a clue. That's the clue that will mm, when I put a spotlight on what my ego doesn't want to look at, then the point of all of that is guess who's losing their power? Guess who's losing their focus? Guess who's losing their job? Impatience, judging. And all judgment starts with self. You can't judge others without judging yourself first. So just know that. This is another one. This is a big one, especially now. Well, especially anytime, but wanting someone else to think what you think is important is important. How about this one, especially during the holidays? Hold on a second, a little bit more water. I would like to piggyback back a little bit on last week's topic, which is the obligation to the holidays. This no one is out there saying, hey, it's okay to be by yourself on a holiday on Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. The ability to enjoy your own company. Who's practicing that? So those are just a few examples of program behaviors on a list of 57. In addition, if you really want to know if somebody is compatible with you, in less than 5 minutes, I don't care if it's a male, a female, you want to know if somebody's compatible within a couple of minutes. Here we go. See, these are some of these questions. You ready? Ask them, especially if you just met them, ask them, what makes you angry, irritated, sad? Or you can ask them, what's wrong with the world today? It's one of my favorites. Or you can ask them, how are you different from last week, a month, a year? How are you different? And check and see if a person can give you a tangible example of them being different. I mean, I can give you an example instantly. This whole having a side and posting something and hanging on to this political side, it's being let go quicker and quicker and quicker. because there's no peace in it. Absolutely none. Okay. So you ask a person that will just indicate whether or not they are self-aware, conscious, if they are even interested in growing, even if they're even have the if they are even looking in the mirror and finding solutions in the mirror and not pointing out. So pointing out to the world that something's wrong out there. Well, however you view the world, whatever you perceive the world to be, it is part of what's going on internally for you. And in fact, coming out and owning, acknowledging, I'm speaking for myself, where I can use more practice. This road, this journey is not an easy one. It is a road less traveled for a reason. Growth is uncomfortable, but the practice is to transcend the wants, the desires, the behaviors, the voice of the ego, the voice of the human, the behavior of that simple creature that gratification, the sense of contentment never seems to last. It is always, the ego is always in a state of discontentment. The person, the human is there, it's just never enough. And I am over riding that wave of it not being enough. Not to say, let me be very clear, that I still can't take action and I can't keep writing and I can't keep coming up with new ideas. No, but the vibration and the energy in the moment is that of satisfaction. Can you imagine? That's when you know you've taken over. That's when you know no ego. You sit somewhere else. Listening to, allowing the ego to take charge, the ego to drive, is just like giving a 5-year-old the wheels of a car, the keys to the car, the wheels of a car, the keys to a car. You wouldn't put a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a car. So the ego has a function, has a purpose, but its purpose is not to bring any peace or contentment, not lasting. Happiness, inner peace, the vibration of contentment are all practiced skills. What? Look at the time. How just yapping away for an hour by myself in this closet. Let me just look at my notes. So the trusting is, the importance of trust is, do you want, I mean, how light do you want your suitcases to be? If you ever overpacked, I cannot seem to master that. I overpack, whether I'm getting on a plane. And last week I drove to California and that car was filled. It looked like I was moving. I was only there for almost a week. I had clothes in that car. Probably at least eight blouses. Now I wore the pants. Well, there are a couple pair of pants I didn't wear. At least 8 blouses, 2 pair of pants I didn't even wear. That car was filled to the brim. It looked like I was moving from out of state, and I was just going to visit. How many pair of shoes I had? And I only wore my flip flops. Did I wear another pair of shoes? Still. But this is my excuse. This is the ego's excuse. Well, this is my excuse. I'm gonna claim this one. I never know how I'm going to feel. I may feel inspired to put on my plaid shirt. I may feel inspired to put on my t-shirt, my V-neck versus the U-neck t-shirt, all of it. So I covered every base. That car was packed. What was my point? My point was that you can either travel on this journey overpacking, carrying suitcases that you don't need. Number one, you don't need that suitcase that worries. You don't need to pick up the suitcase. I worry. You don't need to pick that up. The other thing about judging, the other thing, having expectations, thinking something serious, thinking something is important. I know when I feel that energy of this is serious, I already know that it's an ego takeover. Just practice that one, letting go of this is important. This is serious. You can still take action without that extra programmed energy and story believing, making a judgment, believing that something is serious because it ain't. And it's going to be a blink of an eye. You, me, we're going to go to another dimension and realize that, wow, all of that, all of that time. So in any moment, just be mindful of which identity you are identifying with, either the human, the witness, or the observer, or pure presence, pure awareness. Which do you think is going to bring about more peace and more contentment and shoulders down, state of relaxation? I'll let you answer that. All right. Wow. Okay. Click here, click. Well, that's all. That's the end of today's show. Thank you for listening. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, and every Saturday morning live at 9:15 on Saturday morning on YouTube. My son and I do a show. It's called What Happens When a Mother and Son Make Sense Out of Nonsense, plus more. So Reality Spirituality show is heard every Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My YouTube channel is Rebecca Norrington. Follow me on Twitter at RL Norrington. My website is Rebecca Norrington. LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn, and my Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. There are no mistakes. This journey requires a lot less than what the ego tries to make you believe. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. That was published in 2014. And my latest book, Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. In this book, I list 56 program behaviors, and I also list 26 behaviors that are not programmed that will add to your contentment and your happiness. And I'm getting a lot of really nice reviews. Thank you for the reviews. Like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. You are conscious energy, which is always evolving, always changing, always growing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself by accepting exactly who you are, where you are in every moment. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. That's a quote from Abraham. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, global happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner, Rebecca L. Norrington. Happiness is a practiced skill. And I promise you, the more you practice, the more peace you're going to find. And your experience in any moment, in every moment, reflects on what you practice. Have a conscious week. Now I have to, hold on, I'm back. computer that went on silent, and my password is surrender trust. Oh, look at this. Let me try that again. RRENDERTRUST with some numbers attached. Surrender trust. That's my password. Don't tell anybody. And here we are out. Have a conscious week. Thank you for listening.
It's time to be real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yes, your ears open. Praise one now. Spirituality. You got a question for us? Spirituality. It's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Spirituality. It's time to get down. Spirituality. Together you gonna feel good now. Get real good. Spirituality. Time to get real.
And here, and the stream.
It's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Spirituality. You got a question for our spirituality. It's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Spirituality. Time to get down. Spirituality. Together you gonna feel good now. Get real good. Spirituality. Time to get real.